There comes a moment in every person's life when everything they once believed about themselves is challenged. A moment when the limits they accepted, the fears they carried, and the doubts they repeated begin to crumble. Imagine hearing these words, "You were wrong." Very wrong. Not as an insult, not as a condemnation, but as a wake-up call, a revelation, a reminder that the story you've been telling yourself about your life is not the truth. The truth is far greater than you ever imagined. For years, you may have believed that your circumstances defined your future. You looked at your bank account and decided what was possible. You looked at your failures and decided what you deserved. You looked at your mistakes and convinced yourself that certain dreams were forever out of reach. Every setback became evidence. Every disappointment became proof. Every closed door became another reason to lower your expectations. But what if the assumptions you built your life upon were wrong? What if the limits you accepted were never real in the first place? Many people spend their lives trapped inside invisible prisons. These prisons are not made of steel bars or concrete walls. They are made of thoughts. They are built from fear, doubt, insecurity, and the opinions of others. They tell themselves, "I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm too old. I'm too young. I missed my chance. People like me don't succeed." Over time, these thoughts become beliefs, and those beliefs become barriers. The tragedy is not that the barriers exist. The tragedy is that most people never realize they created them themselves. The world is full of examples of individuals who were told they could not succeed. They were told their dreams were unrealistic. They were told their ambitions were impossible. Yet they refused to accept those limitations. They chose to believe that the future could be different from the past. They chose to act despite uncertainty. They chose to continue despite criticism. Eventually, they achieved what others said could never be done. The first lesson hidden inside the phrase, "You were wrong," is this: your current situation is not your final destination. Too many people mistake temporary circumstances for permanent realities. They experience one failure and conclude they are failures. They face one rejection and conclude they are unwanted. They encounter one obstacle and conclude the journey is over. But life does not work that way. A single chapter does not determine the entire story. Think about the greatest achievements in history. Nearly all of them began with uncertainty. Before every breakthrough, there was doubt. Before every innovation, there was skepticism. Before every success, there were countless failures. The people who changed the world were not people who never failed. They were people who refused to let failure become their identity. You may be carrying disappointments right now. Perhaps opportunities disappeared. Perhaps relationships ended. Perhaps goals remain unfulfilled. Perhaps you feel as though you have worked hard without receiving the results you expected. It is easy during such moments to believe that the future holds nothing better. But that belief is often based on incomplete information. You cannot see tomorrow. You cannot predict every opportunity that may appear. You cannot know every connection you will make or every lesson you will learn. The future remains unwritten. The second lesson hidden inside these words is that growth often happens when nothing appears to be happening. Imagine a seed planted deep beneath the ground. From the surface, it looks lifeless. Weeks may pass without visible change. Yet underground, roots are spreading. Strength is developing. Preparation is taking place. Then one day the seed emerges, breaking through the soil and reaching toward the sky. Human beings are often the same. Some of the most important growth occurs beneath the surface where nobody can see it. You may feel as though your efforts are producing no results. You may feel as though progress is invisible. Yet every challenge is teaching resilience. Every setback is teaching patience. Every obstacle is building character. Every difficult season is preparing you for responsibilities that lie ahead. Growth is not always visible, but it is always valuable. Many people underestimate the power of persistence. They assume success belongs only to the gifted, the lucky, or the privileged. Yet history repeatedly demonstrates that persistence often matters more than talent. The person who refuses to quit gains experience. The person who continues learning gains wisdom. The person who keeps moving forward gains momentum. Eventually, persistence creates opportunities that would never have existed otherwise. Another reason people are wrong about themselves is that they focus too heavily on past mistakes. They replay failures repeatedly, allowing old experiences to define new possibilities. Every person has made mistakes. Every person has chosen poorly at times. Every person has experienced regret. But mistakes are meant to be teachers, not permanent labels. They provide lessons. They offer guidance. They reveal weaknesses that can be strengthened. They do not determine destiny. Imagine driving a car while staring only into the rearview mirror. Eventually you would crash because your attention would be fixed on what is behind rather than what lies ahead. The same principle applies to life. Constantly focusing on past failures prevents you from recognizing future opportunities. Reflection is valuable, but obsession, you were wrong, also challenges the belief that success happens overnight. Modern culture often celebrates the visible result while ignoring the invisible process. People admire achievements without understanding the years of effort behind them. They see victories without seeing sacrifices. They celebrate breakthroughs without appreciating preparation. True success is usually the result of countless small actions repeated consistently over time. It is built through discipline. It is strengthened through persistence. It is sustained through continuous learning. There's rarely a magical shortcut. There's rarely an instant transformation. Great achievements like Elon Musk are typically the product of long-term commitment. Another powerful lesson is that fear exaggerates obstacles. Fear has a remarkable ability to make challenges appear larger than they really are. It convinces people that failure is inevitable. It magnifies risks while minimizing possibilities. It whispers worst-case scenarios until they feel like certainty. Yet most fears never become reality. Many obstacles that seem overwhelming today appear manageable once they are confronted directly. Think about challenges you overcame in the past. At the time, they may have seemed impossible. You may have wondered how you would survive them. Yet here you are, stronger, wiser, more experienced. The very obstacles that once frightened you became stepping stones toward growth. Many individuals spend years waiting for confidence before taking action. They tell themselves they will begin once they feel ready. They will pursue the dream once fear disappears. They will seize opportunities once certainty arrives. Unfortunately, certainty rarely comes. Confidence is not usually the cause of action. More often, confidence is the result of action. People become confident by doing difficult things. They become confident by facing fears. They become confident by surviving challenges. Every step forward expands capability. Every risk taken increases experience. Every obstacle overcome strengthens belief. Another reason people are often wrong about themselves is because they underestimate their capacity to adapt. Human beings are remarkably resilient. They can learn new skills. They can recover from setbacks. They can reinvent themselves. They can begin again. Yet many people convince themselves that change is impossible. They define themselves by who they used to be rather than who they could become. Your past does not have to dictate your future. The habits you developed can be changed. The skills you lack can be learned. The weaknesses you recognize can be improved. Personal growth remains possible as long as you are willing to pursue it. The phrase "very wrong" emphasizes just how dramatically people underestimate themselves. They underestimate their intelligence. They underestimate their creativity. They underestimate their resilience. They underestimate their ability to overcome adversity. Most importantly, they underestimate the impact of consistent effort applied over time. Imagine improving just 1% every day. The change would seem insignificant in the moment. Yet over months and years, the cumulative effect would be extraordinary. Small improvements compound. Small disciplines accumulate. Small actions create large outcomes. Another common mistake is comparing your journey to someone else's. Comparison creates unnecessary discouragement. It focuses attention on differences rather than progress. Every individual begins from a unique starting point. Every person faces different challenges. Every path unfolds according to different circumstances. Success is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming the best version of yourself. It is about maximizing your own potential. It is about making progress relative to where you started, not relative to where someone else happens to be. Life often tests people before rewarding them. Challenges reveal commitment. Obstacles expose character. Difficulties strengthen determination. Without resistance, there can be no growth. Without struggle, there can be no resilience. Without challenges, there can be no meaningful transformation. Consider how muscles develop. They grow stronger by facing resistance. The same principle applies mentally, emotionally, and professionally. Adversity, while uncomfortable, often becomes the catalyst for growth. The difficulties you wish had never happened may eventually become the experiences you value most. Many people assume opportunity arrives only once. They believe missed chances can never be replaced. While some opportunities are unique, life continually presents new possibilities. New relationships form. New industries emerge. New skills become valuable. New doors open. The future contains opportunities that do not yet exist today. Another reason people are wrong is that they underestimate the importance of patience. Society celebrates speed. It rewards immediacy. It promotes instant gratification. Yet meaningful achievements often require time. Mastery requires time. Trust requires time. Growth requires time. Lasting success requires time. Patience is active persistence. It is continuing to work while results remain unseen. It is maintaining commitment despite uncertainty. It is believing that effort invested today will eventually produce rewards tomorrow. There will always be critics. There will always be doubters. There will always be individuals who project their limitations onto others. If you listen to every negative opinion, your ambitions will shrink until they fit comfortably inside someone else's expectations. But your future should never be determined by another person's fears. The greatest breakthroughs often occur after periods of intense struggle. Just before dawn, the night appears darkest. Just before a breakthrough, challenges may seem overwhelming. This pattern appears repeatedly throughout life. Many people quit too soon because they assume difficulty means failure. In reality, difficulty often precedes growth. You may not realize it now, but the challenges you face today could be preparing you for opportunities tomorrow. The skills you're developing, the lessons you're learning, the resilience you're building, all of it may prove essential in ways you cannot yet understand. Perhaps the most important message hidden inside these words is this: never allow your current circumstances to convince you that your future is limited. The future remains open. Possibilities remain available. Growth remains possible. New beginnings remain within reach. You were wrong when you believed your failures defined you. You were wrong when you believed your mistakes disqualified you. You were wrong when you believed your fears were facts. You were wrong when you believed your dreams were impossible. You were wrong when you assumed your best days were behind you. You were wrong when you thought progress was not happening. You were wrong when you believed the obstacles were bigger than your potential. You were wrong when you thought one setback could determine an entire lifetime. And if you have been wrong about those things, then perhaps you have also been wrong about what is possible for your future. Perhaps your greatest opportunities have not yet arrived. Perhaps your most meaningful achievements remain ahead. Perhaps your strongest relationships are still waiting to be formed. Perhaps your most important contribution to the world has yet to be made. Perhaps the person you are becoming is far greater than the person you have been. The future belongs to those who refuse to be defined by limitations. It belongs to those who continue learning, growing, adapting, and persevering. It belongs to those who understand that success is not determined by where they begin, but by whether they continue moving forward. So stand up today with renewed determination. Let go of the beliefs that have held you back. Release the doubts that have limited your vision. Stop allowing yesterday to control tomorrow. Start seeing challenges as opportunities, obstacles as lessons, and setbacks as preparation. Because one day you may look back on this season of your life and realize something extraordinary. The limitations you feared were never permanent. The obstacles you dreaded were never unbeatable. The doubts you believed were never accurate. And in that moment, you will finally understand the full meaning of those powerful words. You were wrong, very wrong, not because you failed, not because you struggled, not because you faced challenges, but because you underestimated yourself, underestimated your potential, underestimated your resilience, and underestimated what could happen when you refused to give up. The story is not over. The journey is not finished. The opportunity is not gone. Your future is still being written, and the next chapter may become the one that changes everything.